Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Mike Armstrong podcast show. And this evening or afternoon in stateside, we're joined by Kim Hall, who is an Amway distributor from the US. And also, we've met networking, so I know Kim's a big networker as well. She's got a number of other strings to her bow. We'll have a little chat about some of those things as well. How are you doing today, Kim? You okay?
I'm good, Mike. And how are you? It's good to see you, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk with people and hopefully be able to serve people.
Yes, brilliant. And no problem. Thanks for coming on and for having a chat with me. So obviously we've known each other a while now through the online speed networking hosted by Gerard Hammond. And we've been doing that for a few weeks now. But we haven't really had a chance to have a real good chat. So it's good for me to have a follow-up call with the people I meet networking, and I like to get to know them a bit more. I put it on my podcast and my YouTube channel for other people to get to know them as well. So tell us a little bit about your background and what you do. Obviously, you're a distributor at Amway, but some of the other things you're involved in as well.
Well, I have a lot of different things that I have done, from, of course, being a wife, a mom, a grams, and that's always fun. Then we have, I was a virtual, after I got out, well, I worked in retail, but before that I worked in a steel mill. So after I did that and did some administration work, I actually was a virtual assistant for a while. So I have that entrepreneurial bug, I think people would call that.
Yeah.
And then became a distributor with Amway, but do a lot of other things, from Crime Watch in our area to volunteering at our church when we were affiliated with a huge church that needed a lot of help. So just a lot of different things, but always love to serve.
Okay, brilliant. So you like to help people, which is something that we have in common. I like to help people too. So obviously we met networking. How have you found sort of networking and shifting to online and, sort of the change in business since the sort of pandemic come along?
Well, it's been different, and I have appreciated meeting you because you do have service as your heart. That speaks volumes. And when you're networking, you always can find people that are like-minded in that way. They just shine. And I have always appreciated that about you. With the networking, internet and technology is not my first language. It's a second language, so it's been a little challenging. However, I think when we're approached with challenges, as all of us have seen this year, we have a couple of choices. You can either, fall underneath them, or you can rise above them. And I love the spirit of people that I've seen wanting to rise above the challenges of this year.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I have a motto. It doesn't matter how many times you fall down, as long as you get up at least one more time. So,
Right.
It doesn't matter how many challenges you get in your way, as long as you just overcome them. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just, and if you never give up, and there is always a way. And if you can't find a way, if you ask someone else, or, meet somebody and try and find some help, at some point you'll find a way around any obstacle, is my belief. You just got to keep going.
Yep, exactly. And I think that's the beauty of networking, don't you? Because you do have other people that are there that are like-minded, that if you're struggling with something, maybe you're just having a bad day, but they can come alongside and say, hey, have you thought about this? Or they can give a word of encouragement, like you said, to get up one more time than what you've been knocked down.
Yeah, definitely. Well, another belief of mine is you should surround yourself with positive people and people who can help you just as much as you can help them, because together you get the compound effect of, if you're all pushing in the same direction and you're all positive, etc. So, for me, I've actually quite enjoyed the pandemic period. I don't enjoy what's going on in the world and knowing that other people are suffering. But for myself, I worked from home for 8 years anyway. So I've just enjoyed, carrying on doing that and actually finding more people doing it. I've been able to reach out to the world as the world is doing it. And, I'm a big believer in the more you collaborate and join forces, the bigger that force is and the more good it can do.
Right. And you get to shine when you're used to it. And you get to show the way for the rest of us.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, it's about trying to help as many people along the way. That's what I think life's about. So
Exactly.
tell us a little bit about. You said obviously you do the Amway distribution now. That's something I know you started more recently because of this situation. What else are you involved in? You said obviously the church and that, but I know there's something to do with the YouTube and Grandpa telling stories. Can you tell us?
Oh, yes. I was a wife. I am a proud wife, so I might bore you a bit with this information. But my husband retired a little over a year and a half ago, and when he retired, you never know what those circumstances are going to be. But I was really thrilled when he decided to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
And on that YouTube channel, he decided, since our grandchildren live out of town, they're out of our state, he would read books to them, because we read books to our kids when they were growing up, and they've turned into being avid readers.
yeah,
And so he thought he would do that. He started that. And then when COVID hit, he decided to open the channel up so that parents who were stuck home with their kids all the time would be able to have a little bit of an outlet, maybe give them a little bit of a break where where he
yeah.
reads. So he's the internet grandpa on YouTube, and he has hundreds of books, I think now, with hours of reading, everything from storybooks for kids, little kids, to chapter books. He's working on right now. He's done The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, but that won't be released in December. Well, we're in December, sometime this month.
Yeah.
And but different books that from what homeschoolers need, as far as some of the reading materials that they need to cover, to just entertainment for the little kids, and he gets a
Yeah.
kick out of that.
Yeah, I bet that's. I bet the grandkids love that, knowing that Grandpa's an internet sensation, reading books to all the kids around the world. He's a bit like Father Christmas.
Somewhat like that. He could have that white beard if he'd grow it out too.
Yeah, that'd look
But
good. That would and some rosy cheeks, and then it could be
uh-huh.
what Santa does the rest of the year round.
That may be the next chapter of this, right?
Yeah, well, it makes sense, really. I think there's lots of kids who need reading about Santa at Christmas time, obviously, to see what he's up to. I bet a lot of them are worried whether he's going to make it around the world this year because of this pandemic.
Yeah, and if he's going to have to wear gloves and a mask as he goes into homes, so we don't, scare the dogs that are in those homes.
Definitely.
um, but yeah, he did a lot of Thanksgiving books. I was surprised at how many books for children are about Thanksgiving, but that's
Yeah.
kind of nice to see, because it's a good thing to, like, you talk about the positivity, and I think thankfulness is one of those definite positive things.
Oh, yes. I think, excuse me. I think a big part of positive outlook and positive mental attitude is being grateful and appreciative for what you have whilst you're working on what you want.
Exactly.
I think so many people take whatever they have around them and whatever situation they are in life, they take it for granted.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really appreciate, for example, how lucky they are to be born on the side of the world they're born in, or in the part of the country that they're in, or it's like a lot of people constantly moan and whinge sometimes at things which they're called third world problems. You know what I mean? They're not real problems, but people sometimes look for problems because they haven't actually got any real ones.
Yes, that's sad. But then on the flip side of that, you have those that, look at the little bit that they have, that are very thankful for it. And in being thankful, they show kindness to others. There's so many other positive things, like you said, about
Yes, definitely.
that,
Sometimes,
that shine of a thankful heart.
yeah, sometimes the people who got nothing are the most appreciative for the things they do have. So so that's it. But
Yes.
for me, it's been interesting to see a shift in mindset, if you like, in the human race a little bit, because of this pandemic and people forging together and pulling together, and all about them and the hours they work and the car they drive, and it's about the things that people do value most in the world. Seeing their family and to do things hobbies and simple pleasures in like going for walks and getting into nature, or people really get to understand actually what it is around them that is sort of worth enjoying and missing and that sort of thing. So I think there's a lot of people going to have different work-life balances and different life patterns following the pandemic because they got used to doing things a better way. And I myself have been doing that for 8 years, a way where I can get up when I want to rather than having to get up early in the morning and go on the commute. The way where you don't have to do a commute to work and, get stuck 2 hours one way and 2 hours the other way and get caught up in all pollution and then, and pollute the planet and all these things that people have taken for granted, including the planet's a big one for me. The human race has taken a lot of things for granted. And I think this has just been a little bit of a reset for people to actually recalibrate what is important to them and maybe what isn't so important to them, like the latest phone or the latest car or the latest trainer, or, all those things.
We do sometimes get stuck in different levels of grief when something is taken away or when we have a challenge. And it's hard to get out of some of them. I know I myself was stuck in kind of self-pity for a while when I was real sick. So it's really important, though, for people to realize that while that's okay, it is kind of normal, there is something much better out there for them if they decide, and it's a decision, to look at things differently, to examine, okay, this is my situation, but what is there that's good in this? What have I learned? What can I glean so that maybe I can share that with others and make their life a little easier? Yeah. So those kinds of things, I think I've seen people rise to that call during this, most definitely, like you said. So
yeah, definitely. I think when the going gets tough, the tough get going, as they say. And I think there has been a lot of people who have got going during this time. And there always are winners and losers in all situations. And as you said earlier, it is a choice a lot of the time. You choose to go with the flow and to make things happen, or you choose to put your head in the sand and let the waves ride on top of you, if you like, and swallow you up, so everyone has a choice. And if you can't see the choices, sometimes you need to surround yourself with some positivity or a positive role model, or let yourself doing into a routine of gratitude, or something. There's some way of getting yourself out of that. And if you can get yourself out of it, the world looks a much better place when you are looking at things in a positive way rather than in a constant haze of negativity.
Exactly. Like we were forced into Zoom rooms, and with this networking especially, it's been phenomenal because I'm looking at your world map behind you, and I've met people from all over the world in that Zoom room that I would not have had that opportunity. Well, I may have had the opportunity, but I may not have taken advantage of that opportunity to do so in, if times were like they were before, what we call our normal.
yeah, definitely. And you're from Indiana, aren't you?
I am in Indiana. I'm a Hoosier.
Yeah. That's right. So, I put a pin in Indiana earlier, so I don't put pins in for everyone I meet around the world, otherwise it'd fill up too quickly. But I put a pin in for everyone I connect with. So either have a networking follow-up with them, or we have a long chat at a networking event, or I get them on my podcast, or something where I would consider them to be a connection then, rather than just somebody you've met, a connection.
Oh, I like that. You'll have to take a close-up of that map and put it under your YouTube channel or your LinkedIn or something, so we can see all.
There's quite a lot of red pins in there.
All the different pins. Cool.
Yeah. So there's a big cluster around sort of the UK and Europe, and a big cluster in the USA. There's a couple in Africa, but there's lots of parts of the world I need to fill in. Not so much in Asia, not so much in Russia, and not so much in South America. And Canada's such a big area. I've met lots of people in Canada, but the pins don't fill up the gap very, very quickly.
So we need to make some introductions to you.
Yes, that's right. Well, yeah, I'm always looking to get people from Russia, because Russia's a massive area, and I don't know too many people. So Russia, more of Canada, but I got lots along this sort of bottom coast of Canada, where it entwines with America, because that's where Toronto is, and it's where some of the big cities are. But I haven't got much in the big open spaces in the sort of North Canada. I guess there's not many moose you can meet networking.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you let us know about that. So now everyone in the listening audience, we know what to listen for Mike as to how to make introductions of people in those areas.
Yes,
I'd like to see you fill up that map.
That's my mission. That's my plan. I can't wait till it's red. So it's just there's nowhere else. Nothing else you can see, and it's filling up in lots of nice little areas. South Africa, I know, is quite well. There's quite a few in
Oh, okay.
quite a few over Africa, quite a few in India, quite a lot in India. China and Japan, Australia obviously is massive, so I need more. I've got a few in Australia, but need more. Russia, Australia, China.
How about Haiti?
And South America. What did you say?
I have a dear friend from Haiti.
Okay, yeah, that'd be good. I don't think I got a Haitian, but yes. So I think I've got about 4 or 5 African countries. So there's a lot more of Africa I need to cover. But my mission is to become a global speaker and to have connections in every part of the world, and ideally have helped somebody in every part of the world. So I might get another color at some point and put in there where I've actually helped someone in some way as well, so I can mix those colors up in there. So I'll just connect with them and help.
It'll be a full rainbow of colors then.
Yeah, there's lots of people out there you don't know if you help them or not, because they might have heard you on a podcast, on a YouTube channel, or whatever. But yeah, if you know you've helped someone in some way, then I could pop another color in for them, and yeah, try and fill that color up all over the world then as well. But yeah, I started my global mission in probably March, really got going around June this year. So I've got quite a lot of pins in the map for the time I've been going. So if I give that a good 10 years, in 10 years time from now, that's going to be a pretty full red map. So
once you get to traveling, you'll actually be meeting people from all over.
Yes, definitely. So I want to go. There's quite a few people I've met different parts of the world. I want to go meet again and catch up with them. And I think again, that's another thing. A lot of people are in a rush to get whatever they want to get to, and they're not willing to take their time. And I look at everything as the big picture, the long term. So that map at the moment, I can fill it up in red quite quickly because of all the people I meet. But meeting somebody isn't really having an impact in any way. So I don't want to just put a pin in for the sake of it. I'd rather take my time. I'd rather build the map up with real connections. And if it takes 10 years to fill the map up, it takes 10 years. As long as you're helping people along the way and whatever, that's the thing which I think a lot of youngsters these days need to learn. That everyone wants everything yesterday. And sometimes you just got to learn a bit of patience.
I think that's true I know it was true with me when I was young. So I don't know if it's the generation or it's just the age. Without having the life experiences,
yeah, it's part of the
you
age.
Don't know.
Yeah, I think it's part of the age, but I also think it's part of the consumer world that we live in now. The fact that the credit cards and everyone. Before people used to save up for this, that, and the other, and now everyone it's all instantaneous. Like just swipe your card or swipe your phone and move on.
Yeah, there's a lot of lessons that are, I would say, more insightful the earlier that you learn them. Yeah. And finances and things like that is one of those, because otherwise then you're spending your time digging out of holes.
Yeah,
so
yeah, definitely.
I think that might be something you can kind of spread the word on too.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's a lot of skills and techniques and principles, if you like, that I believe used to be they used to be more widespread, and they got thinner and thinner on the ground now. People's values and training and patience and those sorts of things that are being depleted away. And that's why I think this pandemic has been good in a way, because it's made people sit up and think and maybe learn some more lessons about life and about the value of life and the value of the people in their world and the value of things and all that sort of thing. So I think there's always great lessons to learn in life, and the earlier you can learn them, the better you can build a life of satisfaction and of value and of giving and, and of gratitude and all these things which make you much happier than if you don't have any of those things.
Mm-hmm. And I think what you're mentioning with the putting the pins in, we meet a lot of people. People cross our paths almost daily in some way. However, I see the authentic meeting as something where you have a little more than a hello, how are you in your conversation, where it's a little more heartfelt, where you can share a little bit of yourself and you get to hear a little bit of them and take that in. And those are the things that help you remember people.
Yes.
Those are the moments that, like you said, they amount to something. They have a reward, whether it be for them or for you or mutual.
Yeah.
And it might just be a heart reward where you're somebody said something that was heartwarming to you. But I like the fact that you don't just put pins for everybody you meet. Because I know you've met people all over the world.
Oh yeah. Well, there's 60 different people on the speed networking events that we go to, and I could have a pin all over America. Most of those times, because they cover everywhere. But if I look at a pin, I want to know who that pin represents, or is there somebody in that part of the world I could potentially pick up and say, I'm going to be there next year, fancy meeting up and having a drink or something, like, you know what I mean? They need to be someone at least on a level where you can remember them, like, and they can remember you, so that it's some sort of meaningful relationship there, and not just...
Right, exactly. I was just going to say that's more of a relationship than just a chance meeting.
Yeah, exactly. And ultimately, like I say, I want to help as many people as possible, and I can't help people if they just fleet by, but I can help them if I get to know them and I get to know what it is that they do and what it is that they're looking for, and and all that sort of thing. So like with your husband's YouTube channel, I subscribe to that, and I always, if I see anything off any of the people I connect with, I try and connect with them on social. And if anyone shares anything, I'll share it myself and pass it on for market the message to a further audience, because it takes 2 seconds to do that. And I've got a lot of following myself. And the more we all help each other, like I say, that compound effect, the more you just, look after other people and don't worry about looking after yourself, or don't worry about, what's in it for me, try to just concentrate on other people and what's in it for them. And I believe in the universe, and things will sort itself out. So if you can just be good to other people, then the world, the God, the universe, whatever you see as the bigger picture, the bigger thing, is going to come back and look after you in some way. That's what I believe in. Sort of, I'm into karma, and what goes around comes around, and that sort of thing. So to me, that's why I want to connect with them. I want to connect on social media, on LinkedIn, and then when I see something that they're sharing, I think, well, let's just share it and see if we can help them spread the message in some way.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that you said leads me to remember something we learned in the networking group, was how good of a listener are you? Yeah. And if you're listening and you pick up on things, like you said, you're able to point others in that direction, because you'll hear a need. If you hear what somebody does and through your networking, and you really listen, you'll hear not just what their job is, but why they do it, what their heart is. And then you feel a little more comfortable. You have a little, like you said, relationship to where you are comfortable maybe referring them on or passing on their information, or like you said, clicking on that link to find out more, or setting up a chat time, which I'm glad you did that. Thank you for your patience on this. It's been a while.
Yes, it's just when you got different time zones, sometimes it's a bit like that. You end up being like ships in the night, but you always get there eventually if there's a willingness on both sides to make it happen. And it doesn't matter. I say I'm patient, so I'm also very impulsive. I've had conversations with people about podcasting 1 minute and been on a podcast chatting with them the next. But I've also, waited 2 or 3 months, whatever. You've got to be adaptable. I think in this life, especially in the pandemic, have shown that you got to be able to do everything. You got to be able to go impulsive and quick if the needs must, and you've got to be able to take your time and be patient if the needs must as well. So it's about being adaptable to the situation and the environment.
Exactly. And then again, that brings you back to service, because you have that servant's heart. You're going to figure out a way somehow to get that in for them, to do that podcast for them, or to be on their podcast, because you understand what it's like to try to get people on your podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, well, that's the thing. Once people come on my podcast, quite often, if I know other podcasters, so quite often I'll recommend them to some of my other friends who are podcasters if I think there's a good fit, because, some podcasts like me, I like to just get anyone on really and have a chat. Most of the time they're entrepreneurs because I meet them business networking. And so, most people who do that are networkers, but I have a chat with anyone about anything really, because, it's not just entrepreneurs that I can help, and, I've got lots of ways of helping them, but generally people, people with mental health issues, or, people who just need a pick-me-up, people who just need a chat, they need an ear for someone to listen to, or whatever, it doesn't matter, For me, I like meeting people. I like getting to know them. I like and to find out about them and seeing if there is a way that we can help each other. Not just me help them, but people like to help as well. So if you give them the ability to help, then they feel good about that too. So sometimes it's about making sure that you ask other people for help as well, and not just offer help, because people like to give help too, and you can't rob them of that satisfaction and that happiness in being able to help you too.
That was a hard lesson for me to learn. I had a friend that said to me, she wanted to buy dinner, and I knew she was, she had limited income, so I always bought. And she finally said, "You know what? You need to let me get my blessings too." I said, "Okay, we'll let you," and be thankful.
I've been fiercely independent since I was 11. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 11, wheeling and dealing, and so I find it very hard as well. But I started realizing, because I suppose of the knowledge of the enjoyment I have in giving, and I've got a happiness formula as well. I don't know, I think I've told you the happiness formula, haven't I? Have I told you my happiness formula?
No, please share.
I have mentioned it a couple of times in Speed Network, and some people have asked me about it. But I've got a happiness formula called SMART happiness formula. And the SMART stands for sleep, meditation, ability to perform, random acts of kindness, and target setting, target achievement. And basically, if you have 7 to 8 hours sleep a night, you have 30 minutes of meditation or mindfulness in the day. You look after your ability to perform, which is exercise for at least 30 minutes a day, drink plenty of water so you're hydrated, and have a well-balanced nutritional diet, and then you do random acts of kindness, at least one a day, but ideally as many as you can, and you do targets, so you set targets and you achieve them regularly, then basically I guarantee that I can make anyone happier if they were to follow that daily formula.
I'd agree. That's a very good formula.
Yeah, it's a very good formula, and it's scientific, really. All of those aspects of every single aspect of the SMART formula is scientifically proven to either make you happier by the releasing of endorphins, or to not make you sadder, Because if, for example, you don't exercise, exercise will release endorphins. You'll also start feeling more miserable if you don't get out and do some exercise. If you don't do mindfulness and meditation, your brain's a bit confused. If you don't have good sleep, you will feel worse than if you had good sleep. If you don't look after your nutrition and your hydration, you will feel worse. And if you do random acts of kindness and you set targets and you look forward to hitting those targets and then you hit them, and you get task-orientated goal achieving, then that releases endorphins, just like random acts of kindness releases oxytocin. So basically, they are all scientifically, medically proven to make you happier if you do them all, And I found that formula. I found that during the start of lockdown, because I was living that formula. I was living it, and I realized that I've always been a very happy person, always very positive, always very optimistic. And I was only doing maybe 70, 80% of the formula, but I started doing the 100% daily routine formula. And I had the happiest period of my life during lockdown, the start of lockdown. And so that formula come to me one day. And I was just, because I've always been happy, but sometimes I've been goal setting and sometimes I haven't. And then other times I've been doing exercise every day, or actually since I was a kid, probably more just a couple of times a week. But because of the pandemic and I had extra time in my schedule and I was out every day exercising, that combined with the actual everyday goal setting and task completing, on top of all those other things then of exercise, hydration, nutrition, and good sleep, which I've always had, always made sure to have good sleep. I was doing the whole thing together. And I was thinking, well, that's, you know, most people do 70, 80% of what they should do to be extremely happy, but they don't do the last 20, 30%. And if they can get to do that every day, they will be much happier. You know, you can be happy, but then there's different levels of happiness, and biologically, physically, mentally, you'll be at a peak level if you can do that formula, the SMART formula, religiously on a daily basis, like, you know.
Yes, it's similar to the life wheel, where if you have all components of your life, from your family to your business to your social life to, like you said, the reading, all that in balance, then you'll tend to be balanced or be complete. You know, like you said, you're only doing 70% of something, you're only 70% complete.
Yeah.
So
Well, I got a happiness formula, but I've met someone else who's got a happiness formula as well. And his is G cubed. G cubed, and the G cubed is gratitude, growing, and giving.
Oh, that's
and
a
he
good one
basically
too.
says you've got to have your 3 pots full, and if you're not feeling so good, then you've got to look at which one of the 3 pots is most empty and work on filling that one up. So
that's a good goal.
So that's a good pot as well. I get that as well, because, you know, gratitude, if you're not feeling grateful, then you need to build that up. And once that's built up, then, and giving and growing, you know, growing in yourself. That's a bit like goal setting, goal achievement, growing, because when you're setting goals and you're achieving them, you're always developing, you're moving on. Yeah. So that's very similar. And then gratitude is all about, you know, so mindfulness and random acts of kindness and that sort of thing links in with sort of gratitude and that type of thing, that type of mental ability. And then giving, you know, random acts of kindness and giving makes you feel good, and that. So his is a bit different than mine, but I can see lots of similarities in it too, like, you know.
Well, and if you're grateful for your health, you want to keep your health.
Yes.
So that would make you want to work on your health
yeah, exactly.
to keep it. So yeah, I think they all work together well.
Yeah, that one is a bit more of a philosophy, if you like, about keeping the pots level, if you like, whereas mine's a bit more of a practical instruction guide, if you like, you know, do these things regular. And I believe I want to.
It's a checklist. I like our check marks when we complete something.
Doing it, and then I want to test. I want to get people's. I want to gauge their happiness score from when they started, before they started implementing the happiness structure, and then the happiness score after. So at some point in my life, I'm going to get that formula out to people. I'm probably not going to charge for it. I'm going to give it for free, because as part of the way I can help as many people on the planet is by giving them the happiness formula. And that's something I can speak about constantly on stages and on podcasts and that sort of thing.
That would be a good survey to do.
Yeah.
Survey everything that's on your board back there. First, that would be your good warm market, and then through LinkedIn might be another market to survey, and see where it goes. That could give you a lot of information for speaking.
Yes, definitely. But actually, when I finished my happiness formula, I was thinking about all the things that I was doing every day. So it didn't start off as SMART. I had to write everything down and come up with an acronym, because I think if you have an acronym, it's easier to remember. And that's why I got ability to perform, to cover 3 things, because I wanted it to be SMART. By the time I had the S and the M and the R, and I had G originally for goals instead of targets. But by the time I had the S, the M, the R, and the T, I had E for exercise and hydration, and then all of a sudden I thought, bang, the smart comes. And that's how it worked. But as my brain was thinking about these sort of things, I also realized what makes me happy is success. Is that goal setting, goal achievement, and that's what I was doing a lot of during the pandemic. I was getting things like I wrote a book, started a podcast, did lots of episodes, went global networking. I was just ticking off like life, like the bucket list things on your life, big things in your life that you want to do. I was ticking all of them off. And so, that's why I come up with the smart happiness formula. But then I realized, because I like success and I enjoy success, and I've been fairly successful most of my life consistently. We all have ups and downs and stuff, and I had a big down in the global credit crunch. But the rest of my life has always been pretty successful. And so what I realized is success is a big part of my happiness as well. So I come up with a success formula, which was, again, something I've been doing all my life, which I know works for me. And I called that STREAMS, and that stands for systems, technology, relationships, efficiency, action, marketing, and sales, which is STREAMS. Yeah. And I believe that they're not a daily ritual, but they're like a life plan, that if you grow those 7 pots through your life, if you invest, time regularly into growing your systems, your technology, your relationships, your efficiencies, your actions, your margins and sales, that's how you become more efficient. That's how you become a professional, because you get all of those 7 areas covered in your life, and they give you a compound effect of, once you've got efficiency because you're using technology and you've got great systems, and you understand how to build relationships, and you understand the efficiencies, and you take massive action, and you know how to market and sell yourself. They are all the component parts of becoming successful in whatever area of life you want to become successful in.
And to give you a little play on words, as you were saying that, I said it helps everything flow smoothly.
So I call it streams, and then I call them together smart streams, which will put you in full flow. Yeah,
exactly.
So they put you in full flow. Yeah, they put you in full flow, and that is what I consider to be an elite business performance formula. So you've got the success formula, and you've got the smart formula, the happiness formula, and you put them together, and what that is an elite business performance formula, because you can have success without the health, but it won't last long. But if you have the success with the happiness and with the health, then you actually have long-term success, which is the key to life, really, is doing what you love all the time and enjoying it and having longevity out of it.
Exactly. And it all goes together in perfect harmony as well. So because like you said, you've designed it to where one thing flows into the other. One thing, they're all interchangeable for success.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm going to give the happiness formula away, the smart formula, and then I'm going to hopefully try and help people to become more successful in life by teaching them various aspects, the 7 pillars of success, helping them with that. And the big one, one of my big ones is relationships, networking, building connections. And I think, that's why if you listen to most top entrepreneurs, they'll always tell you their success is down to the team they built around them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And in building that team, it's not just who the leader is, it's who the leader is helping the others be and become. So the encouragement factor is in there too.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Bob Burg. Have you heard of Bob Burg? Yeah, the Go-Giver.
Yep. The Go-Giver sell more. Yes.
Yes. So you can become successful by helping other people to achieve whatever they want in life.
Right. Have you ever read The Energy Bus?
No, I haven't read that one, no.
John, Jon, I can't think of his last name all of a sudden, but he's got several, and those are very positive books. So for those people who are listening that struggle maybe with a little negativity, those books, I've given those to a few people. John Gordon, Jongord.
The Energy Bus,
The Energy Bus. He has Soup. I can't remember. A lot of the names are real short on the books, but I should be able to remember them, but I can't.
Yeah, well,
But
funny enough,
those are good books too.
one of my questions for you earlier was going to be, because you said you like reading and all that, so I was going to ask you to recommend some books, and then you got around to it in the end anyway. So well done for that. We was on the same wavelength there.
We tend to do that. We've done that in the network groups too. But yeah, the only other book I would recommend, and I read it every year, is the How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Dale Carnegie.
Yeah, because of all the different, he has some great lessons in there with examples, life stories.
Yeah, I haven't actually read that book, but everyone recommends that book, everyone. But again, everyone used to recommend Think and Grow Rich and Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I only read both of those this year, but I audio booked them.
Okay, yeah, those are good ones too.
I've been on Rich Dad seminars and all that, over the last few years and stuff, but I actually only read, I don't have time to read books. I'm not a massive reader, I tend to watch the film rather than read the book. But what I found during lockdown, again, when I was out exercising all the time, is I had time to listen to podcasts. I was listening to podcasts and I was listening to audiobook. And I managed to get through, I think, about 16 books, this summer, really. And, I listened to Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich. And also loads of like Brian Tracy, the psychology of sales and of success and all that sort of stuff.
John Maxwell. Sorry.
I was going to say, I never really listened to a lot of that stuff because I've always been naturally sort of positive and psychology anyway, but I like Brian Tracy. I think he gives great content. So I thought I'd go through, and you know what it's like on YouTube, you listen to an audiobook and then another one pops up and another one pops up. And
John Maxwell is another good one that has a lot of information. I think.
What's that book called?
One of my favorites from John Maxwell is Today Matters.
Okay.
And it is an emphasis on what we do today matters tomorrow. And it's a motivational book in the fact that when you read it, you say, how have I used my 86,400 seconds today? And it's a good reflection, to get you to kind of check yourself, like with your lists, to be able to check those off.
Did you read or listen to Eat That Frog from Brian Tracy, which a time
that one I have
book?
not yet.
Have you? That's a good time management book. That is obviously when you were in virtual PA, and I thought you might have listened to that one. But that's a really good book.
I think I was a VA before that book came out.
Okay.
So that was back in the late 1990s, into early 2000s.
There's another one which I really liked. It just popped up on YouTube. David Swartz, I think it is. The Magic of Thinking Big.
I like that one. I'm reading that one now.
Yeah, it's good. That's a really good book. And also, I'm a massive Grant Cardone fan. So 10X rules and all them as well. Grant, the reason I like Grant Cardone is obviously sales, and I'm sales and marketing as well. And he's into property as well. And I want to get into property. But also Grant studied a lot of the top entrepreneurs on the planet. A lot of his knowledge and information comes from, he spent a lot of time, learning from the top sort of, 20 or 100 billionaires, so he's learned a lot of good techniques. And there's another guy I like, Kevin Green, who learned a lot off Richard Branson. He was sort of mentored by Richard Branson from a sort of fairly young age. And he's a great guy. He's based in Wales, another property guy.
I've not read that either. I'm going to have to look a few of these, get that list from you and look a few of these out.
Yeah, well, I think the thing is with personal development is that, a lot of the messages are very similar or even the same, but it's just sometimes the way they're said, and, sometimes it's like, do you resonate with this person more than that, the language they use, and, it's often similar techniques, and so you can get the same message and come to the same point by listening to a lot of the different people than someone else. Lots of people do, read and listen to the same stuff like Rich Dad and Think and Grow Rich. They're the two pillars, I think, of personal development in most people's sort of experience. But there's lots of other directions you can go there. Another guy I only stumbled across in the summer was Jim Rohn.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Rohn's got some amazing YouTube content, and
He does. Yeah, I was just going to say a lot of his now is on YouTube. It wasn't originally, but back to the Go Giver. One of the great, I think one of the greatest thing about that book is it's an easy read. It's a story, so it draws people in. However, just reading it as a story is one thing, but when you evaluate it the second time, I had to read it the second time, but the second time, when you evaluate the lessons that are taught in that, it really gives you a lot of practical application to where you can apply those things that you've just learned from that book into your life. I do see you doing that as far as being the go-giver.
Well,
and the connector.
I've had Bob Berg on my podcast, and
have you?
And we speak fairly regularly on Twitter. You know, I share a lot of his content, and he always thanks me, and we have a little chat and stuff. And he was one of the speakers on the Introbiz Global Summit that was on Wednesday to Friday. So I might get him back on my podcast, actually, thinking about that, because he's a great guy, Bob, and I'd like to talk to him about the Global Summit, because that's two birds, one stone. That's helping him get his message out there, helping me get someone on my podcast, and actually talking about the Global Summit, which is, a summit which is done by Introbiz, which is obviously where I'm working now. I'm doing sales and marketing for Introbiz, and they're doing 3 summits next year as well. So it's sort of like, closing off last summit, talking about the next upcoming summits, getting him on my podcast and sharing the message, which I think is wonderful. So that's just prompted me to get Bob back on my podcast. So thanks for that.
And when you do, please give me notice, because I know probably at least several hundreds of people that love his books and would love to actually hear him on a podcast, I'm sure.
Well,
so
he's actually been on, he was on a couple of months ago. So if I get you the link from YouTube, you can send that one out as a way of people maybe getting used to my podcast and stuff. And you send me your YouTube channel again, I can find it. I'm subscribed, and I'll share that out a bit more as well, and see if we can get some more kids from around the world listening to Grandpa reading stories.
Grandpa.
The internet grandpa, yeah. So I'm conscious now it's time for us to go speed networking. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Is there anywhere you want to send people to connect with you? What's the best place to send them to?
They can connect with me either on LinkedIn, it's R. Kim Hall, or through my email, which is servingyou.kimhall@gmail.com. Or they can, I'm sure, find me through you. If they're connected with you, you can get them my information as well.
That's something I always say. If people resonate with someone, either a previous guest or a current guest or whatever, just let me know, and I can do the introduction. And all the people I get on my podcast are great people. They all want to help and serve others. And I'm sure, again, if you look at my back catalog on my YouTube channel, and if there's anyone on there you want to connect with, I think there's a good girl that you get on with. Oh, you probably know her, actually. I think she's from the same feed network. It's Jeanette Deathridge.
Oh, yeah, Jeanette. I just sent her another message today. She was checking on me since she hadn't seen me on the network for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, because you would offer similar products, but also complementary products, and deal with similar sort of people, etc. So, yeah, that would be one. But
we have a lot of the same work experiences, so we share a lot of that information together. But she's great. She's Mary Kay, and I have the artistry, and we go back and forth, and are able to actually, her company was the first skincare company I ever used. So
was it? Okay. So
I give her a couple of testimonies and stories to that as to how I brought that forward into my company, with artistry. So
brilliant. And it's always good to have somebody who is, maybe walking the same path, has a similar back experience, and you can, talk about ideas and they're going to get it, rather than, some people, you talk to them about some things and they just don't understand it because they see it from a different point of view and a different perspective. And so
some people's perspective is one of competition. And I think both Jeanette and I look at it as a complementary kind of thing. Maybe our products compete a little bit, but we're going to reach different markets, and that's okay. And there's enough business for everyone. So I love meeting with people who have that mentality.
And you could do a virtual ladies' night or something one time, and actually bring each other's friends and associates and connections together, and see which complementary products would work for the wider community and group.
Yes,
so, collaborations are always good.
We have a lot of good conversations like that. So
yes.
We'll have to let you know when we do.
Brilliant. Yes. So yeah, it's been great having you on. I look forward to seeing you on the speed networking, and have a great rest of your day.
All right, you too. And thank you so much for the opportunity to share with you. And I got to learn a few more things about you too. So thank you. You have a great day, Mike.
And you, all the best. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Bye.